Welcome back. Welcome back. We've had a wonderful evening, wonderful music, wonderful conversations, and great friends. MoJoe, thank you for putting this together for us.
I didn't know what to expect coming over tonight, but oh my, was I pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
HarpJoe, thank you for coming over. DanJoe, your presence is just always welcome.
Always, every time.
And that was fun. I hope it turns out. So if it doesn't turn out, just so you know, it was. We talked a lot about the HarpJoe's experiences. We did some jams for the first time on the Two Joes podcast. I hope it turns out. It was fun as heck. If it doesn't, you guys missed something. And it gives you a little taste of what jamming's like, because we talk about jamming a lot on this podcast.
All the time.
It's special to us. We really love it. And so there you go. That's what it's like.
MoJoe, the way it happened tonight was just kind of out of left field. It was Harry Potter type stuff where, you and I had the plan to do the podcast tonight. And then, it was about 10 minutes before you showed up here. I thought, why even text you? Why even let you know they're here? You'll just be a pleasant surprise for you. Just be oh, cool, you guys are here.
It was a pleasant surprise, absolutely.
And when you walked in, did you notice he brought his harps with him?
I did, because he had them sitting on the floor over there, and I said, that's his harp case. Yeah. I was a little bummed I didn't bring my iPad, but in hindsight, that almost worked out better.
Why would you?
Because like you were saying, if we would have started playing songs off my iPad, look, that's all copyrighted shit. We're going to get dinged. We don't want that. And what ended up happening was a lot of blues riffs, just chord progression riffs and fun.
Yeah.
Nothing that can be copyrighted striked. And if it does, I'm going to contact that Legal Eagle dude that I know on YouTube. Shout out to him. And say, what the fuck, dude? I can't even play a chord progression anymore. That's bogus. Did you ever check him out? I sent you a link on that Legal Eagle.
I watched the link you sent me.
Wasn't he sharp? He's kind of cool, isn't he?
He knew the ins and outs
and he makes it kind of easy to understand. Yeah, I like him a lot. I watch him fairly regular. And he's all about YouTube and the copyright thing that's, it's ongoing and it's never going to end. And it seems to be getting tighter, because I noticed Joe Rogan on his podcast, he used to pull up video clips all the time. He doesn't do that much anymore. Very rarely does he have Jamie pull up a clip and actually show it on the podcast. Have you ever noticed that? Yeah, well, you don't listen to Rogan as much maybe as I do. I don't know.
Yeah.
But who was it the other day that was on Joe Rogan's podcast that I said, I got to tell MoJoe he's on?
Pendulette.
He was really fun. Did you listen to that whole podcast?
I did.
He was good. I liked that a lot. And and him and Joe and Pendulette said they're going to do it at least once a year from now on. So I hope they hold true to that, because I really enjoyed that podcast a lot.
I would watch that one every time.
Yeah.
I like those guys.
Those guys are cool.
Very much. Oh, man. So I forgot where we were prior. The music that happened here tonight in this room on this podcast, I'm having a hard time really encapsulating.
Wouldn't you say it was typical of when HarpJoe shows up? No, come on now. Hold on. When HarpJoe shows up to our regular jams, wasn't that typical of what he brings to a jam and how he makes it another level?
Every time he joins, he does make it another level.
I think so.
This is the first time that I've witnessed HarpJoe's music, and it's been dozens of times I've seen it. First time it's only been two instruments playing, two musicians playing, and it was the best I've seen HarpJoe play. Tonight was the best I saw him play. It was, he took over. He carried it out, 16 counts, 32 counts. He just kept it moving, and it was the best.
Really? Well, I can't say that you're wrong, but I don't know. Because we don't have all those jams that he showed up to recorded, obviously, but man, he's always been stellar. So I can't say that this was any better.
He has always been stellar. Every performance is stellar.
It definitely tells you what it's like when he comes to a jam. The only difference is that instead of just me and HarpJoe and MoJoe on the lyrics there, it would be more people even. And it's even much more complex of a jam. And it's just,
Yeah, you got lyrics coming in. You've got maybe a mandolin coming in or something.
Maybe more than one acoustic guitar doing rhythm. Maybe some lead guitar, a bass guitar.
Is always there.
It would be a much more complex, rich experience. Yeah, but this will give you a taste of what it's like when he shows up to one of our jams when we're fully staffed.
Fully staffed.
I don't know what to say.
Well, correctly staffed.
I don't know if staff's the right word, but
we've been fully staffed many times, and the music sucked. As my neighbor, HarpJoe is my neighbor. I think we discussed this earlier. I've never seen him take the lead or do a solo, meaning he's the only instrument playing. I haven't seen him really do that before. Through a whole song. Tonight, he took lead.
True.
He took
That's
lead.
True. He had no Check Joe to compete with.
With your rhythm behind him. With your rhythm right behind him.
He was the
every
center
step.
stage, true.
He was center stage
true.
and took
I
the
see
lead
what you're saying
and
now.
just went bananas with it.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear the playback, dude.
I can't wait. In fact, you got to leave a copy with me tonight. First
I don't know
time
if
ever.
I can, dude.
What?
If you've got it's a chip. If you got a micro SD reader, we can definitely do it. But if you don't, then I'm sorry.
So it's got to go through the internet to get onto this laptop.
Essentially, unless you have a reader, a USB reader, which is what I have at home. I'm going to take this out of this unit, and I'm going to plug it into a micro USB reader. What is that?
It's a battery charger.
I can't plug my chip into that, dude.
I understand.
Sorry, man.
Yeah. No, you're always great about getting them posted.
I try to get them up as soon as I can.
I cannot wait to hear
this. Yeah, me
this.
too. I'm looking forward to it.
I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah, it should be fun. I'm so glad they stopped by tonight. It was very fun.
Oh, man. A blast. And even DanJoe.
DanJoe, absolutely, yeah.
You know, she
didn't
talk much, but she
told a good joke, and we talked to her about her. She is getting into the uke scene, which is awesome. I play a little bit of uke myself. I'm going to encourage her as much as I possibly can. Bring her my very favorite cheat sheet of uke chords and uke progressions, which I think will help get her going.
Yes.
Because if you can play a few progressions that you like and enjoy, then that's what you practice with, and that's a huge step forward.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Fully agreed. And let's hope she'll stick with us on it now.
Yeah, and come out of her shell a little bit and participate. That'd be awesome.
A little more often. And she lives so close. And I'm not talking just Saturdays or Sundays during a holiday weekend. I mean, like a Tuesday night. Let's go practice a little bit of strumming. Let's go practice a stringed instrument. And,
I am willing to entertain that, but I have a family, and it's tough to get away sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, I can get away Thursdays for hockey, and I can get away Saturdays for jams and Sundays for podcasting, but that's 3 out of the 7 days of the week. So after that, it gets a little bit tough.
You and I could probably Skype it. I bet we could rehearse over the Skype.
I've never done that.
I'll bet Bassman we could Skype with and get it nailed.
I would like to try that. If that doesn't work, maybe Google Plus or something, just to see, because that could be good. Anyway.
Well, and then, because for the music that I want to do for the kids in the hospitals is going to happen Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. year round. And this cannot be changed. Yeah. Because the light from the sun is perfect at Saturdays at 10 a.m., whether it's winter or summer, it doesn't matter.
And I should be able to make some of those. I can't guarantee all of them.
All of them, yeah. But that's all we need. I'm the only one that can make every one of them because it's in my garage. Right. I'm the only one. But I just want to do a couple of them and upload them.
Dude, I can't wait to get a couple of, done and uploaded
and edited. They don't
in your pocket. I don't know. Just tell me what songs, and I'll start practicing them, because practice is going to help. And,
yes, it will.
And I've got a little mini studio at home. I can lay down a drum track, or little helpful tracks that might help to fill in some of the stuff.
You're the only of my friends that knows how to run a loop machine, don't you?
I don't run a loop, dude. I play it myself. So what I do is I have a whisper. I have a whisper track, essentially.
Interesting.
So so that's what I do. I record it off of YouTube, but it's a shitty recording. But it's enough to help me keep the beat, keep the rhythm, and I listen to it in my headphones while I play my drums. I always start with the drums, and then I go to rhythm guitar or tambourine. And I build upon that initial drum thing. But all the time I'm listening to that whisper track. And then when I take the whisper track out, I have a little bit of magic. And so that's how I do it.
Yeah. That's well said. If I may, I want to recall and praise "Don't Let Me Down," the one you showed me, that track.
I think I recorded it that day or the day before you came to record one of our practice podcasts.
That was our first. No, dude, that was our first podcast.
MoJoe Studio. I think it was our very first practice podcast.
First. Yeah.
MoJoe Studio. I played a little track for him. Multiple track recording.
Well, hey man, it was me speaking, not you. It was me. You did all the layers for "Don't Let Me Down."
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that was George Harrison, not the Beatles. Am I correct?
Well,
or was it the Beatles?
My whisper track was the Beatles on a rooftop.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
So I think it was primarily
it might have been
Lennon.
The Beatles. I think that might have been
I think it was a song
published
Lennon
under the
wrote,
Beatles.
is my guess.
It might have been. Yeah.
But they were all there, but they had the longer hair. It was later in their career, I think. And they were on a rooftop for whatever reason. But it
showed the tempo that you had for each layer of the music. Each I don't know. It's how you build it up. How do you get the clarinets to complement the trumpets or the bass drums or this sort of thing? And that's I don't know. I wish everybody had that, but MoJoe, not everybody has that.
No,
they don't have that appreciation for music and how it builds and how you can contribute. You can contribute
absolutely.
in some small way.
And if you break it down to simplicity, like what I hope HarpJoe and I showed you tonight, 2 chords and some practice, you can create music.
Yeah.
Fun music.
It sounded like you guys had rehearsed. It sounded like you guys had rehearsed together before. Well, and you've played alongside one another. You have.
But only a handful of times.
A small number of times.
Yes.
Very small number of times. But you guys did, I guess, do some blues, and you did some this and that, and did some covers, and Mary Jane,
But when we just started doing 4-chord progressions, that wasn't blues, that wasn't Mary Jane, that was just totally off the top of our heads, just winging it.
Yeah.
How cool is that? Music. That's unique stuff that's never going to happen again. I couldn't repeat that. Maybe if I listened to this recording enough and practiced it, maybe. I don't know.
Well, bet David Bowie could.
But does it matter? It was magic in the moment. People, thank you for joining us on the Two Joes podcast.
Thank you so much.
This evening is wrapped up.
We will see you next time, and we have no idea who our guests will be.
Surprise!